Learning bites are small bites of professional development opportunities we offer to our network here at Sophia. Sophia is a nonprofit organization registered and based in London, but we work globally. Our vision and mission is to help schools and teachers improve the ways they work and the quality of education they offer to students from any background, especially the non-so-privileged ones or the ones that do not have many resources. Today, we're here to discuss AI and inclusive teaching. We are welcoming Nadia Cooke. She is with the British Council in Morocco. She will introduce herself and tell us more about her work and jump right into today's topic. Nadia, I can't thank you enough for this collaboration. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Natasha. Thank you. And welcome, everybody. Hello, and thank you for joining today. This session is about practical, realistic ways we can reduce barriers to learning, especially for learners with additional needs. And we'll explore how AI can support inclusion. But importantly, focusing on high quality teaching as well. And everything that I'll share today is grounded in classroom practice. So there are three key threads running through this session. First, recognizing barriers, because if we don't identify these properly, our strategies don't work. And second, embedding differentiation into everyday teaching, not just as extra work, but as part of everyday practice. And third, how AI can act as a support tool for accessibility and independence. But throughout, the teacher remains central, and I'd like to make the point that AI only ever supports us. It doesn't lead in the classrooms. So before we go directly into the classroom, let's zoom out a little bit and look at some barriers that are not just in school settings, because they exist in everyday life, right? So this activity links physical, attitudinal, and systemic barriers. So I have a reflect on what kind of barriers that you see, and then match them to the descriptions that I've provided. So just to help you reflect a little bit deeper, please match the type of barrier to the description. So I'll give you one, such as 1C, for example. So a physical barrier would be C, the lack of ramps in public buildings. So I'll just give you a moment to think about that one. So yes, 1C that we've talked about. 2A, yes, thank you. So communication barriers are things like reliance on unwritten social rules or implicit communication, so communication that isn't direct. And 3B, which is societal barrier. So assumptions about disabled individuals, thinking that maybe they couldn't learn or can't work. So this is important extension into our classrooms as well, to see what the barriers are first before we take action. So AI can act as a form of digital scaffolding for different areas such as these. So working memory, task initiation, personalised feedback and motivation, especially for learners with executive function challenges. So think about what we're offloading onto AI. So it reduces cognitive overload. And importantly, it's immediate and non-judgmental. And we'll look at some examples. And that alone can remove huge emotional barriers for people. So modern AI systems, such as ChatGPT and other large language models, can serve as a form of external working memory or digital scaffolding for neurodivergent learners. And these tools can summarize complex information, generate concise to-do lists, or provide clear explanations in accessible language. So for many learners with, say, ADHD, for example, this externalization of cognitive load can be really transformative, really helpful, really supportive. So tasks that previously required significant mental effort can be delegated, allowing learners to conserve mental energy for creative or analytical thinking instead. So here's a simple example with the writing task. So instead of expecting a learner to start from nothing, AI helps generate ideas and structure. And this doesn't replace thinking, it just supports the entry into the task. And we often see, when we use this, we often see reduced procrastination and that reduced perfectionism, and that confidence, that increase in confidence is important to have our learners participate more and to increase retention as well. So a quick reminder, supporting ADHD is not about ability or lack of ability. It's about regulation, attention, organization, emotion, and what might look like disengagement is often a sensory overload or an understimulation. So our role is to adjust the environment and not to lower any expectations at all. So for many individuals with attention deficit or hyperactivity, daily life can present a unique set of cognitive challenges, such as I've mentioned before, the cognitive executive functioning, such as planning, task initiation, organization, sustained attention as well. And this can make ordinary responsibilities feel overwhelming. In parallel to that, the rapid development of artificial intelligence tools has introduced new ways to support for cognitive support, as well as self-support and self-management. And in a kind of a twist, technology that was once seen as a potential distraction in classrooms is increasingly becoming an ally in promoting focus and structure and even motivation. So let's take a closer look at supporting learners with ADHD. So here is Maya. Maya is a secondary student and she really struggles with reading long texts and retaining grammar rules as well. Often she interrupts lessons impulsively and she shouts out. So she also uses her phone as a comfort tool, and this helps her feel safe when she uses her phone. So many of us will recognise a learner like this. We've had experience of this. So what's important here is reframing behaviour. So interruptions are not rudeness, it's impulsivity. And her phone isn't like an avoidance to do the work, it's a regulation strategy. So we can ask, how do we support rather than suppress Maya in this situation, and use AI tools to offer more structured support to help her stay engaged. So these are some ideas. Okay, so these are simple embedded strategies, and nothing here requires a complete lesson redesign. Things like wait and write, voice to text, or note apps. And we're giving learners tools to manage their thinking before it becomes a disruption in the classroom. So AI can act as a thinking partner rather than just a question and answer machine as well. So we can use AI for offloading thoughts. So we can say to Maya, Maya, if you have an idea, try typing it into Google Notes first before sharing it with the class. And this will stop this interruption or shouting out in the class. Excuse me. And this also gives Maya more reflection time. And it's important that the teacher revisits Maya to check if she's, has any answers or any questions that she's noted down. And this is a really good part of that learner training as well. This builds confidence and helps Maya feel safe and included in all the activities in class. So what could have happened without the strategy? So this is a real strategy that we implemented. So her peers could have seen her as annoying or rude, as well as the teacher. And maybe also her contributions may have also been dismissed as well. There are additional tools and apps of varying degrees of complexity, but this is the simplest for quick ideas, of which notes can be spoken, written, and pictures can be added for pictorial support as well. And I'm not going to name lots of different specific tools. I'm really focusing on strategies, but AI tools can empower individuals with ADHD to navigate these environments more effectively. And these tools are now emerging as a partner in focus, creativity, and self-regulation. This strategy, like wait and write, can really help learners stay included and also build that peer understanding with the rest of the class as well, reducing that social friction, benefiting the whole environment, the whole class as well. And other students, they also saw the benefit of note-taking in this way. So now moving on to autistic learners and social communication. Many learners struggle with unpredictability in interactions, and AI offers something unique in that way. So safe, structured rehearsals. So it removes, especially with speaking activities, and it removes that kind of shame and pressure and emotional unpredictability. But again, this must be guided by the teacher. AI tools like ChatGPT or Copilot can help students by providing the structured role play scenarios for practicing conversations. Let's also look at understanding communication differences. So literal thinking and direct communication can often lead to socially blunt feedback in the class. And of course, like we as teachers can model how we give feedback to the whole class each lesson and encourage appropriate peer feedback opportunities. And we'll look a little bit closer at that example. AI's consistent and emotion-free responsiveness is another advantage. So unlike human collaborators, AI assistants don't express that frustration when asked for repeated reminders or many questions. Some neurodivergent learners like to ask many questions because they want to see the whole picture. And they want all the details. So sometimes people can get quite tired of the constant questions. So an AI assistant doesn't get tired in this situation. They can also offer gentle structure, setting timers, tracking hydration even, when people forget to drink water, or scheduling in breaks as well, without any kind of judgment around that. And this constant availability and neutrality makes AI an appealing partner for individuals who experience either shame or anxiety around their perceived disorganization or social challenges. A simple yet effective AI prompt can help students prepare for social interactions. So, for example, here we have, give me different ways to respond if someone is rude to me in class. Okay, so this is about conflict in class. Or you can have a follow-up prompt as well, like, can you act like a classmate who is upset with me? And these kinds of prompts help students rehearse different responses, really boosting confidence in preparation for real life situations. And this particular idea was shared with the parents in a teacher parent meeting to be implemented at home with parental guidance. And here are 3 situations that an LLM created for us as examples to share with the learner and parents. So the first situation, social situation, is about introducing something new. So this can be quite distressing for some learners who are autistic. So that's the first conversation practice. The second is, the first one is about creating boundaries. And that's really important as well. And the second is about introducing something new. And the third conversation is about a potential misunderstanding or a conflict. So these AI generated scenarios, what's valuable is the structure, not really the perfection of the conversation. That can be, put back into the LLM and increased or adapted by the learner. We can use these to model, as I was saying, boundaries, conversation skills, conflict resolution, and this supports the emotional regulation and social understanding. The learner themselves, when we did this, was very happy about this new way that he could use LLMs, and he became more confident and calmer in the classroom as well. Another social situation that the learner finds difficult is giving feedback. So this is what I previously mentioned that I was going to expand on. And how can a teacher use Gen AI to support appropriate peer-to-peer feedback in class? So literal thinking and direct communication style can often lead to this socially blunt feedback. So here, Adam, he doesn't mean to be rude. He believes in straightforward communication and honesty. He values that. But in peer feedback, this tone and phrasing, it really matters. So many people struggle to give appropriate feedback, not just people who are autistic. So building our understanding around communication differences can make a big difference. So what did we do? We asked ChatGPT to create feedback examples all the students could use and could use them as models. I'll just show you these. So as not to oversimplify, but to still offer scaffolding. So we requested sentence starters. This was what was produced for the teacher to use. But we still need the expertise of the teacher to implement this in the class with the learners successfully. So each was colour coded for easy recognition by the learners to signify different types of feedback. So positive, constructive, or wish, encouraging effort, feedback on whole group work, and some neutral feedback as well. So it's really on the prompts that you give LLMs for what you want. So how can we advise the teacher on how to use these? This is about scaffolding, how to communicate, not just what to say exactly. And these are sentence starters as well. So how do we use this? The teacher was able to experiment with this in a teaching centre in Mauritius, and to help develop a positive environment for the learners where they felt safe to give and receive feedback. Really encouraging autonomous reflection and metacognitive skills as well. And these strategies helped embed it into a routine. So maybe pick and pass, displays, games like feedback bingo. And over time, it really builds this metacognition, and learners start to internalize this respectful, constructive feedback. Now, just to look a little bit on impact, the learner is more included, more regulated, more confident. And importantly, these strategies support all the learners in the class, not just those with identified needs. So if you're looking at assessment methods, the teacher has established structured peer assessment routines with clear signals and provides the learner with a dedicated space to record feedback for later discussion. For assessment principles, the teacher has co-created clear expectations for turn taking and respectful, constructive feedback with the class, using strategies like role play to reinforce positive interaction. And for monitoring the progress, the teacher monitors the learner's engagement and reinforces progress with regular check-ins, and also really celebrating successful use of the strategies. So it's really great to kind of reflect on how strategies can be useful for all the learners in the classroom. So there are ethical and practical considerations. While the integration of AI into neurodivergent life management is promising, it also invites important questions. Reliance on AI systems must be balanced with privacy, data protection, and the preservation of self-agency. This is really important. Additionally, while AI can simulate executive function, it can't replace the nuanced emotional support and contextual understanding offered by human relationships. Therefore, I think the optimum use of Gen AI may be hybrid approaches that combine technological assistance with therapeutic, educational, or community-based support. I think it's important we stay critical. AI should never replace relationships, and we must consider consent, privacy, and agency. And the best approach is hybrid. Technology plus human connection, and always centered on the learner. So AI doesn't provide support strategies for different challenges. Teachers do. And AI just gives us additional tools. Here are some ideas from today, an additional idea on self-emotional regulation, or stimming at the bottom there, the last one. And take a moment to think, what strategy will you try in your next class? Feel free to write in the chat or to make a note. And also thank you for your time and engagement. And I hope you found something practical to take away today. I really value your feedback and reflections, so please scan the QR code. I think we may have time for some questions, or if you'd like to revisit a slide from the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nadia. That was amazing. Of course, we got a lot of practical ideas and advice and techniques we can bring to the classrooms. I'm stopping the recording now so people can feel free to turn their cameras on or unmute and speak to you and ask questions.